There we go. Give it a little bit more there. Hello, everybody. Ed Pugh here, President Reaper Mate. We're doing Terrain Tuesday. Literally just got up here. So we're going to go, but for those that are new, and I'm going to assume if you're here, you're here, we're going to go over what we've been doing. So we're going to spend about a total of 5 hours on building a trebuchet. So today will be hour 2. I think it'll be about 4 hours. We should be able to start wrapping it up. So 4 episodes. And I'm going to do some work in between. So for those that are new, here's what we're building. Could you put that picture up, Justin? Did you get them all queued up?
Yeah, which one is that?
That one there, perfect. That's what we're building, and for our scale is the little guy down below. Is what we used. And for that we used Sur 4 scale, which in my haste I haven't seen. So anyway, that's what we're building. Where we left off last week after our first stars, we got the base in, and we got the trough, that part, and we had just started the wings. So today we're going to build the wings to this monster and get it going. Let me get my picture going. And we don't really have a ruler. We don't use that much. Now to review some of the things we did last week when I stuck these on, you'll see the building techniques we're using. We're using straight pins and wood glue. Get rid of some of these here.
Also, I noticed people in the, while you're getting that ready, Ed, I noticed some people were talking about the schedule in chat before this started. If you look at the bottom of our stream, actually, there's a stream timer. It's a schedule, and that'll tell you, and it should adjust to your time zone, wherever you are in the world, as to what show is and what the countdown is till that next show. So if you have any questions about it, it's actually in the bottom of the stream, in a nice little widget. So
what I'm doing here is I'm pulling the straight pins out. And what will happen is after you've glued, and just to show everybody that's new here how we're doing this, I'm live for 5 hours. Oh my God. This comes off, I'm just going to put I'll put a drop of glue on it. Get it to open.
ready for the other camera?
Yeah, no, not yet.
Okay.
Because I'm just sort of showing. Well, actually, yeah, let's do that. So we're going to drop some glue on. I've just got to adjust where I am and where it is. There we go.
Lean the camera down some, it's tilted.
So, okay. Is that what you wanted to do?
Yeah, there we go.
Whatever. That was a big W, whatever. So anyway, when you want to put them on, you want them straight. As you can see, I've just got it like this. And we're going to stick it on, and that pin is what's going to hold it in place. Now, you've got a couple options. We want it to stay. And so the other thing is from the inside here, let me get it around on the camera so you can see it. You can see right there, that's the pin head we're looking for. So all I want to do is add a second one in there, which I didn't do last time. And that second one keeps it from wanting to rotate. So as you can see, what we're doing is we do that. We push it on in. I've got a pair of pliers that happen to be round here. Okay, they're actually for working wire. And they make a really good, both to push it in and to do that. So you also have this technique here, and we'll just go over these just so we get everybody caught up, where I just put a pin in the side. Let me get it to where you can see that. So that's what this is right here. That's another way to anchor it and hold it. But you still need two in there to keep it from rotating, kind of a thing. So with that said, we'll get started.
Also, real quick, while Ed's doing that, people are typing #free. Today, the giveaway will be one of the random Christmas minis if we hit 20 subs during the stream. And that's resubs too. So if it's a resub, gifted sub, any kind of sub, 20 of them, and I'll keep count, of course, we will give away one of the Christmas minis. You'll get one of those shipped to you. To 5 people.
Or the stack of 4.
The stack of 4. I guess we could do stack of 4.
Why not? Stack of 4.
Yeah, let's do that.
4 Christmas minis and a stack of 4. And if it really goes wild, I think I've even got a piece of coal around here. We'll throw it somebody random. I only got 1 piece of coal.
How many stacks of 4 you got there? 4?
5.
5? Oh, perfect. Stacks of 4. You're getting 4 minis. Look at that.
So. Now, the next thing I wanted to share about it, and what I'm going to do here to keep this speed this up, is I'm going to show you this technique today. And what we're using is a little Plastistruck here. This happens to be strip styrene, evergreen. You can get this at Hobby Towns, probably Hobby Lobby, anywhere. I can just find it, or online. But there's 2 ways to do this. As we go along, we want to detail. But rather than sit here and show you this over and over and over and over, I'm just going to do one real quick, and then off camera I'll do all of the rest of them. So that way you'll see it. And let me find my knife. And I don't really have pre-done sizes. I literally went down right before we started. There's a box we have down there that used to be in the gallery or in our workshop. It's just full of junk like this. And so I just go in and grab stuff, and you just got to figure out how to make it do. But there's nothing really super accurate about it. Now what I like to work with are just plain sheets, and they're thin. That's generally 99% of the time what I work with. Now when you buy this stuff, you can save yourself a lot of time. They do steel roofs and grading and pebbles and cobblestone and brick and just about anything you can imagine. So now what I'm wanting to do here is the texture I'm wanting to add, and we're going to end up texturing as we build up so that we don't have to go back and do this. Today when we add this, the vertical, we'll get into a little bit more of that magic or that geometry. So what I generally do is just simply go in my piece, and what happened to that pencil we had? I did not see it. Somebody walked off with that. You got a pen or a pencil?
I have a Sharpie. Is that too much? I can get a pen.
Anyway, that's okay. Look.
Actually, there's a pen right there to your left on the table.
To my left.
To the little white table on the second tier. The white table.
This?
No. Keep going. Down.
Oh,
the
down here.
Second tier, yeah.
Second tier.
That's Dave's pen for his notebooks. Don't lose it.
No, it's gone. He took it, probably knowing that I would have stolen it.
Oh no, it fell right there actually. it whenever we grabbed the water bottles, I believe it fell.
Okay.
But you got it.
Yeah. It's back to this. We're not professionals.
No. Hashtag not professional.
Okay. So, what I'm going to do here is I'll draw this out on the camera. This is strapping two pieces of wood together. This is an assembly. Now, we're also going to do sort of a fantasy twist to this trebuchet, not just do something that's purely historical. But these woodworkers, ironworkers, all this stuff, they would have to assemble, disassemble, they'd have to keep this going, things like that. So we're going to make the assumption that they did bevel plates, things like that really aren't in that drawing. But they act for reinforcement, and more importantly, they really look good when we go to detail. So what we're in effect going to do is build a T-strip that's going to look like that. And that helps anchor these two boards together, purely just for ornamentation, or that. And at the same time, we'll also come back and add another strip like this. So I would probably want it to be part of that piece as well. And down here, this would get something. So there's two ways to do it. You can go down and just get stripping and then get a particular size, and that actually makes it easy because you're just going to, at that point, just turn around and cut and go and make it work. The other way to do it is just if you've just got a sheet, is I'm going to look at what I need right there, and I'm going to bring it over to this edge because I also want it to fill out a little bit. I drew these smaller so that when I put my cover over it, I don't have the indent of the pen. And instead of doing measurements and all sorts of boring stuff, I'll just cut to this. Like that. We want to come into about here.
Your brother Dave said to leave his pen alone.
Yeah, too late. It has been duly noted and filed. Bad things.
Also, his expert commentary suggests that the thing you drew looks like a T.
Yeah, sort of. But I added another gizmo to it. Okay, now, I can sort of see where I was down below when you do that. So at that point, I'm just going to go ahead and finish it on out, but I'm going to make nice cuts and pull that off. And then we're going to come over here, pull that off, and we're going to come down and grab that. Then we're going to trim this up a little bit because we also want it to be slightly smaller than the edge itself. We also want to square this stuff. We have very good iron workers that are building this, so they want to have nice corners. Now what I've done there is just more or less construct the piece that's going to go here like that. Okay? Now that I've got that, what I also want to do is now I want it to come in about a 32nd of an inch or so inside of this. I don't want it to be right up to the edge, kind of a thing, because then it's going to be really hard to fit and it'll look a little weird. I know that's the part that's going to look a little weird. So what I'm going to do is just literally go around this whole thing and straighten up my corners. And if you've got a grid like this, that'll help you keep into your 90-degree, your angles and stuff like that. So as we can see there, I've got it. So I mark it. Can you see this? Yeah, you can see it. So I'm going to come along. And also, too, in cutting this stuff, it's better to score it lightly and then come back and cut it. So that's pretty good. We're going to come off this edge. And I need a 90 here. So, pow. Probably got it off right there. So I hope everybody's getting ready for Christmas. That is the plan at this time. Or whatever your holiday might be. We have some amazing holidays nowadays for everybody to celebrate. Okay. I think I got all my corners, but that one there still didn't make 90. So when I need a 90 and it's thin, I can just do this and line it up and just do it by like that. And that'll get it straight too, if you get it right. By the way, for those watching, i.e. one of them, I was able to get a hold of the civil engineer. I also talked to the county, and I got everything back on track. And at 9 o'clock in the morning, I have a concrete guy that's also going to be able to do a drainage plan. So that should catch you up for that one person listening and would care about that. So, now when I put it on, as you'll see, what I'm going for here is I have a little bit of a step. And this is just purely aesthetics. But right here, I've got a little bit, I want the wood to show a little bit. And actually, even though that now fits in there comfortably, I actually want it to show a little bit more. Because when we go to paint it, I want to have, like in a miniature, a pretty definitive line. Now, also too, another trick when you're doing this, if you don't want to freehand it, is it would really look nice too if you just get you a cutting edge. And the steel ruler will work, anything will work. You just want a nice edge to cut against. And that'll help clean it up. So that's one. Also going around this, I'll usually try and move like clockwise, so that way I catch everything as I'm going. The straight edge will also help me, like right here, line up these two opposing pieces. So anyway, as I've always said too, is get anything you want to ask. I'm not looking at the screen, so just say it and Justin will read me the questions if anybody's got a question. And of course, there's always the classic question of why are we wasting the time doing it? But we could 3D print it, but not really. As said, for the amount of time spent in this, this will be like a Saturday afternoon build. You get about 4 or 5 hours into it and you're done, and you've had a lot of fun.
No, actually, let's see here. Is it Rignus 44 or Rhines 44?
Mm-hmm.
They're asking if there's a free today, and I was since we've got more people in here now. We have a sub goal today of 20, and then we will give away 5 bundles of 4 of the Christmas minis, and one of the random people will get a piece of coal.
So, in cleaning this up, not only did I get using the straight edge, got it straighter, but as you can see, we now have this plate that does this. And another trick is, when we go to put it in there, I can pretty much should be able to get the pins through. But this also is a nice, when you're building junk like this, if you need some decoration, these are really nice. You can get these in this size, you can get them with smaller. This happens to be a pretty large one here. To put the glue down, I just take it and put a little small amount, and I will just use my finger everywhere on it, just to get it so it's like a tacky surface. We're not actually gluing it, we just want it to stick. And then of course I gotta remember how it went on. There we go. And that'll get it, and we get it to hold in place. There we go. And then you would use, if you wanted to, on this outer edge here, we could drop this guy right in here. And before I push through, I want to anchor it. Something on the inside just gets a rivet. And if you want a rivet pattern, man, I just really need to clean this area up. I'm now looking for just my regular straight pins. Here they are. And if you wanted to build a pattern that they would see, that's where you could go in and just drop one in the center like this. And then build whatever pattern you want to, or whatever you want to do to give it a little bit more. The more pins, the better. Again, it's texture when it's over with. So here are your options, or any combination of. All right. you're going to giggle, you got to let me know.
Silverthorn said that they hope that I have a big magnet to pick up all the drop pins.
Yeah, no, that is.
No, I'll
That's
just
always
let Dave
fun.
find him with his foot.
Yeah.
He'll love that, I think, because he sits in that chair.
All right. The chair of prickliness. All right. So you can build whatever bolt pattern you want to as you're going. And then we're going to knock all these down to the green. And that's why I'm just going to do the one here, and then I will go back off camera and fill these in. Only because once you've seen it, you've seen it. You don't need to see it a bunch of times. Okay, then we had, as I showed everybody before, so that we don't end up making everything all prickly, we have this little device, which what I'll do is I'll get up to the edge here, like that, and I'll push the item through, or the pins through.
I'm also trying to fix the actual sub-goal stuff.
Okay. And then I'll put them in the wood, or just hold them over the wood slightly while it's down, and then when I go to snip them off, got all three of them off, so it's flush, and then they all stick inside this. So we don't have to worry about them being, until at the end I'll go ahead and flick them off the wood onto the floor, just so that we make sure we get our point across to those attending.
That's great, Ed.
I know. That's what I'm here for, man. What?
Maldrak said, any barefoot will do to pick up pins, though. You don't need a magnet.
Although the worst thing under the sun is stepping on Legos barefooted.
I agree. That's worse than pins. Yes.
Yeah. I'd take pins any day of the week. Well, not really, but... Let's see. I think I did. There we go. And last but not least, now these will be when we come back and we're doing our painting, and I'm still working on the color scheme in my brain. It'll be a red catapult, but it's going to be very worn and very aged. So we'll be doing all of that as we're going along. And all of these little spike rivets will add to the character, because in my world it is painting just a large miniature when we get done. Okay. So, that all done. Now you can see what we've got. And again, you can use whatever you want to give the pattern. When this was done, this will end up getting painted, as an example, black, and then we could dry brush some silver on it for the wearing and then things like that. And the whole theory is they take these things apart and put them back together, and plus use them. They're going to need that. So what I'm going to do, like I drew here, is in my own time I'll come back and repeat and build things like that. Now today we're also going to do the, I call them a windlass. I really don't even know what the technical name is. But it's this part here that they're putting the there we go.
That's actually a good question, Dave. I'm surprised we haven't gotten that yet. He
What?
said, how do you handle the oops moments, like a pin splitting the balsa?
Oh.
Or, do you use glue, or do you replace it, or do you pin it? What do you do?
It really depends on the severity of the accident. But if you actually did split something, then it's a matter of how important is it about that split. You can use this wood to just literally go back, fill it. I've taken it, like if I have a chunk, I've already repaired something on this somewhere and I don't remember where it was. But let's say I'm going along here and I've got this sort of a mess up and I've broken. Well, that won't work. Let's see. How do you create an accident when you don't have an accident? Okay. So if that's my brake, and I flip it over, okay, I have to figure out first the orientation. Then I can get it back like that. Now, if this is just purely going to be in a cosmetic location and not structural or anything else, the way I've repaired them in the past is just simply to go back in, and you want a pretty good amount of glue directly on it, And I don't have, okay, I'll get a strip to show you. I'll use that. So at this point, I'm going to stick it back in, and all this glue is going to come out, and all of that. And while this, if you listen to your wood shop teacher, will create a bond that's almost as strong as, if not stronger than the wood, I don't trust it. So now, while that is going to dry and go from there, I also don't want it to stick to everything. So I would cut a small piece of this plastic here, or out of some scrap or something, and that would be on the back side of this piece. And that's purely because the plastic will peel right off when I'm done. Now, one of the bigger things when you're having to repair is to make sure your repair is straight. It would not take much, because you can see this, and it'll look odd, is if you get a little bit off. It looks closed, but you can now see I've got a sort of a crook there, and it gets worse. So we don't want that. So you always want to make sure it's dead on short, that you have your glue in there, and then you put it on something that you can push down on, and see how it'll take with you. When we're done, I can just flick that off when it's dry. And then if you really want to make sure it works and stays tight, is just get you a pin and push that pin through.
I think Dave stole someone else's question.
What?
I believe it was Glenn's question.
Is there a fight now?
Not Dave's question. He was repeating it so we could see it.
Oh, okay.
I think, if I am correct from chat here.
So anyway, as you can see now, I've just stuck it in sideways, and I've got part of this piece and part of that piece, and you can see it's just at a really extreme angle. And then I'll just come back in, and I need to hold on to this or it'll launch, but I'm also not on the pointy end, okay, and do that. And then I'll take the end of this and give it a little push, and there we go. And so that would be, now when this is dry and I knock that off, that joint, or wherever I broke it in this extremely important piece, is now going to be stronger than really everything else. But with balsa wood and everything, it is easy to fix if you do break something. Sometimes it's just easier just to cut another piece and repair from that end. So back to what we were going to do, but that was a very good question. So what I want to do, and if this looks like this is going to take longer than the days in my brain, we might take a few days off from this and do some other stuff so that we don't really get drugged down into working on the trebuchet the whole time. So what I have to do, Ned, today, or one of the things I wanted to at least show y'all how I would do it, is this section right here, these two winches, or I just call them a windlass. I don't know where I got it. That was just what I learned they were. And effectively what happens is that right here you've got a cogged circle, and then you've got this little catch that you can just easily, freely flip out. And when it's flipped out, it'll obviously just allow this to roll. And when it's back locked in, these guys pulling on it can use all their strength to get to the next click and then reset. And then this will have holes in it, which you can really see more on this side. This is just an old wood engraving. And that's how they're advancing it, is they'll take the peg out of this one once they get too far, and they'll put it in this one and push, and that and the other. Now, the rigging on the trebuchet like this, because they're going to want to get this arm here down to probably around this level, okay, is they're working too. And it's not that they're going to work this one, then this one. They're all working off the same block and tackle here. And when you're using this type of a tackle, what that does is it cuts your pull strength required in half. So if this takes 1,000 pounds to pull this rope, then if you, by putting the pulleys there and bringing it back down, it cuts it down to now you only need 500 pounds of strength, kind of pull on it. So, and then obviously more block and tackle, that's the geometry there. So what you would be able to do on this particular thing is put 4 crews here at each one of these, working at each one of those sections, pulling on this simultaneously, because it really doesn't matter if they get ahead or not, because this is actually just a big roller up here. So,
also to clarify from earlier, it was Dr. Bob's question, not Glenn's question, just to clarify.
Okay.
And there was another question that was asked that was pretty good.
What was that question? Why Dr. Bob hadn't sent me any gifts?
Yes, that's
in Pokemon.
That's apparently he needs Pokemon, Dr. Bob. So they asked, let's see, Iliad said, any plans on doing terrain or modeling support models like the metal weapon sprues? Although bones would be preferred. Stuff like weapons, doors, windows, etc. to aid conversion of foam core building projects.
Oh, easy. We could easily do that. Really what I need y'all to do is email Justin ideas. But I've done exactly that. I built a zombie Berlin area one time, and that's exactly what we did there, is in some foam core buildings. We built stuff to insert there because to get that 3-dimensional level. And so anyway, we did this. Now we're going to do that, and I'm going to go ahead and see what we can do for windlass here. And do that. We reaperlive@reapermini.com is where you want to email suggestions.
Correct.
And I'll take anything. We heard some good stuff. What I would like to do is, like you want to build a diorama, a base, and you're going to put your figure in it, and so you want a good background for it. That's things we'll construct. Pretty much anything we can get on the table, type of thing.
Oh, hey, Jacob. Thank you for the sub earlier. Also, thank you, George. Thank you, everyone else who has resubbed as well.
This is, but what we're doing here is actually covering a lot of construction techniques as we're going through that. We'll end up reusing this stuff, obviously, as we're going along here several times. So, if I'm looking at my picture, all I'm seeing here that I need to get together is I understand we have a block and they've tied it down or strapped it down with iron, doesn't matter which. They've got some rigging here, which again, without being able to see everything, I don't know what it does. They've added these lift ups, these things in the center. Obviously they were on it. Their function, I really don't have an idea for yet. So I don't know, other than it was to keep those two ropes from touching, I guess. So really what I have to do is to be able to just get these pinned inside of this arrangement. And so we'll just start cutting and going. And I'll just make the piece because it's there. So, and also too, for the other part, in case the people don't understand, we've got this rigging here that comes out and latches onto this. Looks like a bow. And what it's doing is it comes in and it comes around, and then there's another attachment here on a pulley, and it actually attaches to the bottom of the weight bucket. And so when you're pulling this part down and the beam comes down, this part's going up, at some point it's going to bring these in and apply that last additional tension on it that actually is designed to really just bring the target, or the load, whatever, up to speed. That's all you're really trying to do, is bring that part up. So anyway, we've got that. Now what I did, when I get to stuff like this, I start looking around at the wood I've got to sort of try and keep scale. And I think that's going to be too thin. And I've got some stuff like this, which is the right width, but it's lacking the top, but I could go sideways. We've also got some stuff like this. And if we want to do some freehand cutting, see, we have a choice here, but they've gone ahead and given us a line. It said, I really don't know what this is, but I'm going to take it by this line that this is a separate piece that's attached. So we don't have to worry about that. So we're really looking at the base. Now we could make the base exactly the same width as everything, but I like it when we have this edge here. Again, it just to me adds character and detail and that from that side of it. Now also too, when you start building stuff, or when I start doing this, I'll go ahead and do both sides at the same time. And that way we don't have to get there. So first off, I'm going to need a piece to cover. Looking at the scale, I'm going to come about one figure in. What happened to Mr. Sir Four Scale? Did somebody walk off with him?
No, I think he's on the opposite side of it. Let me see if I can find him.
Probably he's hiding.
He keeps running
I don't
off.
want to be on your show. I'll be on anybody else's. All right, so we will use, we just saw, oh, well, here, we'll use this one. This is another one. This is actually, I don't know if anybody can even see it. The number on this was, I don't remember, 2070 or something, but that's Brother Dave's likeness in there. Sandra Garrity did that on his figure. But I'm going by this guy, the link, so we're going to come in about one person, and this is where we're going to start. And then we're going to go from here, right about there. And we need far enough for our pegs, and then we got to get back from the load. So we'll probably take it, let me see where I've got my, I want 1, 2, so we'll probably just stop right about here. And I don't know what that is, but that's going to be our length. And which is going to show up right about, what did I say, right there. Then I'm going to go in and just double that. All right. Man, Jason's left his console empty. If I could get away, we could have fun. All right, and so I'm going to go with that as sort of an idea visually to get close to it. The next thing is I see that I've got, I need to sort of, they brought down the blocks on the sides here, kind of a thing. So it's sort of an ornate, I don't think it has anything to do with its functionality. Let me find my knife. And effectively the best way I've sort of found to do that is we can start small, and we just come down and we take a chunk off, And I'm looking at it, and I don't know if we're going to actually match it perfect. We could go ahead and try. I need to step in. Okay, so I would go to right about here. And I need to step across there. There we go. And that's what we've got there. And then we can come back and clean it up a little bit. And that sort of looks like it close enough. And then our rollers that we were going to use are some plastistruck like this. So I want to make sure I've got some room there to get them in. So looking at that, I need to come into right about here. And that's going to be the one cut. Oh, you found one. Okay, thank you, sir.
Blue for some reason, but it's fine.
Oh, he's got the blues. Get it?
He ran off and found himself in some blue paint.
Yeah, and some blues. He's tried to join a blues band. All right, and then we came in around here.
Also, someone asked this earlier. I don't know if it actually got answered. I want to reiterate, though. reaperlive at reapermini.com is where you would send
Yes.
any suggestions and such. Also, while I have you in chat, Jacob, if you're still here, I need you to email me your address, your shipping address. It's for a surprise.
If I give you my shipping address, will I get a surprise?
Nope. I know where you live. I don't need your shipping address.
Yeah.
Because you're giving away furniture and stuff too, though, right?
Right.
You could just come into the house, take what you want, and leave.
Almost. Probably going to happen anyway. There we go. So as I'm going to mark there, and that'll give me, because I want the two sides to reasonably match.
Dave, I'm not Jason, and you know that. Of all the people that accidentally call me Jason, it's never you.
Oh, it's an accident?
You know what? Maybe it's not. I don't know.
And there we go. And on this one.
But I think he just typed a second ago, didn't he?
Who?
Buglip said that the chat looked like it got set to sub only, which is, yeah, he typed earlier. He told me that she told me that they sent me an email. So unless it just happened.
Okay.
No, Jacob, it's not a bill. No, it's not.
So,
but if someone shows
go.
up on your porch and they ask if you're who you are, just say yes.
have a free pizza and put the envelope in their hand.
Absolutely.
All right. So what we're going to do is drop these two here and here, but I need a larger ring, and I don't have that. All right, well, we'll go with this. No. If we're going to do it, let's do it wrong.
No, according to this, it's not sub only, so we're good. I mean, my actual dashboard, assuming it's not lying to me, says it is not sub only.
Where is that? I had a, there it is. See if I can cut an end off of this. This is a tube cutter. You can get, again, Micromart. You can get almost all this stuff at Micromart. I've also going to replace some mortar for Micromart. We're going to need some for the beam, some thicker twine. And I figure that's a good place where you can get a lot of fun stuff. They do all ship model stuff. I figure I'll get something out of that. Okay. And the way this works, now this is a not for shellac lacquer China foam brush that happened to be in my box. And it's decided to donate part of its shaft to our project, assuming it doesn't want to crack on the way out. I don't know if this is wood or real wood. I don't even know what it is.
You want to get that a little closer on camera so we can see it?
Oh, yeah.
and kind of see
So
what's
what it
going
is I'm just tightening this. There's a round blade inside of here. So you can see the cutting edge right there. And I tighten this down and just turn. And so you're sort of force cutting it around. And then when it gets easy, I tighten it again. It's only got so much room that it's going to go, and then I'm going to have to take over and go in and whack it out. So anything laying around, and keep this in mind, if you have a significant other with stuff around the house, be sure to respect it. I'll tell you from experience, just because she hasn't used a particular item in a long time doesn't mean that it's available for you to cut up and use one part of it. All right.
Thanks, Jacob, by the way, for giving me that info.
Now, what I'm looking for is just a piece to put for the pole part, because it does look like it's the same size, but there's a chance that it's not. This is a pretty hard wood. So I'm just going to say it defeated me, and we'll move on.
Some people ask if that's a for copper pipe. Is that what that is?
Yeah, you can use it on brass tubing. That's what I use it for. I use it on plastistruck. In fact, when we cut these, we'll do it. So what I've got to do is place these where I need them, which is going to be in the center. And then we're going to tack glue them in. Try and make sure. I've got to visualize. One of the things you got to do if you're not going to work from plans or drawing, you need to think about 2 or 3 steps in advance so that you don't lose it and take it off. Now, this I'm just going to pin in place right now. We're not worried about. Yeah, actually I can. I can go ahead and just pin them on in. Is that, crooked?
Keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that gets it straighter.
I'll just keep chasing you with the camera. It's fine.
That works. It could be worse. And really, when you're doing a model like this, the devil's in the details. You could construct this thing and not detail it and have it done pretty quick. But if you really want to take your time and have fun with it, use it as a background on a game table or even enter it in a show.
Hey Ed, what's Micromart?
Micromart is just a place to order cool tools.
Is it online?
It's online. Micromart.
Okay.
Micromart, M-A-R-T.
Micromart, okay.
And they have it's a severe catalog. I hope if you're going to order from them and you're not familiar with them, make sure you've got your credit card has 0 balance on it so you can start. You'll end up just clicking and clicking and ordering. It's gotten me in trouble through the years.
Has it ever gotten in trouble over the years to use your wife's eyeliner?
Yep.
That's gotten in trouble? Okay, just checking.
Actually, makeup, voice of experience there, makes a great weathering tool, depending on what you're going to do, depending on what you're trying to do. And a lot of times makeup will have that color you're looking for that you don't have to make. And that can get you in trouble. So keep that in mind. You're better off going to the store, the local Walgreens or whatever, and just buying it over the counter on cheap and sale than going in and digging it through the drawer and digging up that old rusty thing that you think is never going to be used again. I've got all sorts of stories full of regret. There we go. See if we can get another. There we go. Okay. That'll hold it in place, but while we're at it, we'll just blow 2 more on the other side. Ah, hey, what? We just whacked a piece out. We'll get to do a repair.
Happy accidents.
Yeah. Okay, so in this particular case, I don't know if you can see, I took a chunk right out in between those 2 pins. And what we're going to do, I'm tired of putting glue on the mat. Let's find something else to put glue on here.
Also, as a reminder, while he repairs this, we are 9 subs away from the giveaway today. So for those of you typing #free, we are close.
Oh, wow. Man, you handle all these PSA stuff really well.
Well, I'm trying.
I would have to say you're the only professional we've got.
Whoa. Hey, don't go that far. Listen, this is a group effort, especially when Dave's up here.
Yeah. So I'm just going to fill it and sort of trowel in a bunch of glue. like that.
No, guys, that doesn't mean type hashtag free. That's other way around. Like once we get the goal, then you can do it.
Then I'm going to be, what does a sub do? If you sub to this channel, that's only for this channel? It doesn't count for other channels?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Xylophone.
I'm still learning the ways of social media. So what I did is I just sort of filled it in with some glue so we can keep it back, and it'll dry on its own. And then we're going to pin it on in. And we'll come back and trill it up. But that adds character to it. It's like scars.
Hey, Paint Salamander. Actually, it's funny that you... Oh, you know what? Thanks, Jacob, for just blowing it out of the water. Per the usual. There it goes.
What?
Jacob finished off our goal for us.
Oh.
And then some. So.
And then some.
And then some.
Jacob has pins. Brother Dave's wearing a Jacob pin.
Yes, he does. And
Wow.
actually, we have an extra right there on the edge of the terrain. Right
I'll have to get
that side. So you should be able to reach it, I think.
Oh.
You could show it off if you'd like to.
Where is it? I'm not looking.
Other side. Right. You know what? I'll grab it.
You just go grab it, because there's a bunch of junk on the table. All right, so now, and the reason I'm pinning these down is we're going to make the cuts for these, and I don't want to estimate that or get lost into that.
Someone named Paint Salamander asked if this was going to be fully functional. Do you want to tell them?
Actually, yeah, it's not going to be fully functional to the extent that it'll be able to throw an appropriate scale payload with the ballast box. But I don't see why we couldn't throw chocolate kisses out of it and get it to actually function and throw chocolate kisses. I have another map here. This is actually, there's a math formula to all this. Everything's in the world geometry. Let's see if this is one of them.
I just turned the giveaway on
No.
since I had to grab the pin for Ed there. So type hashtag free. You should receive a message from Moobot, I hope, assuming it's working.
There is a formula of how much your weight of your payload is to how much mass the weight needs to be in the ballast box. And I think we could easily get it to run some chocolate kisses and throw those across the room. Now, if we want to, one time, we won't do it after this because I'm sure everybody will be burned out on the whole siege engine thing. But we might one day go in and visit. There's a way we can make catapults, and we use rubber bands for the torsion engines. And they look like real little catapults when you get through with them. But you can go to town with those.
I don't think anyone here is going to get burnt out on siege engines.
Oh, okay.
Also, two things.
Yes.
So when you're done with that there, if you want to show the pin off, I handed it to you.
Oh, yes, here it is. Put it right there.
Bam. Jacob Jansen. Secondly, let's see here. Someone asked if you could touch back again on the subject of the Model A Ford you guys said you were working on during the Kickstarter?
A Model A Ford.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who said that and when. Do you remember, Corsair, who said that specifically so we can pin them down? Quote them directly?
Quote me directly. That's always dangerous.
Yeah, that is dangerous. I agree.
I don't remember what I said 5 minutes after I said it. Model A Ford. No, we don't have that. We did have... There's a blue and it's back there behind me. I had an Anglia for a while, old Ford Anglia. It was supercharged, but it wasn't a Model A.
Silverthorn said that they have a book on catapults, and they're not going to get tired of siege engines. See?
Oh.
They love siege engines.
Okay.
I think.
Well, just in case, there is a lot of stuff. The thing I don't want to get into, honestly, with this show, is just like, and we can visit it, is styrofoam cutting hills. I mean, we can do it, we can try it, I can show you how to do it, I can flock it and show you how to flock it, and the flock will never come off, but, you know, it is what it is. I'm sure there's a jillion YouTube videos for that. So.
Oh, that's great, Dave. Thank you. Dave said he ran over the Model A with his Camaro.
With his Camaro, yeah. Easily done, I could tell you that.
Well, then I will ask, Corsair, I'll ask Ron when we get a chance and see what he says.
Okay, so we have that part done. Now we need to bring these in. And part of what's going to help us is by having that ledge that we included down here, this part here is going to rest on top of that ledge. And what this part is what you see those guys there on the left, that's what they're doing, is the windlass. So I need that pin that I'm not supposed to have.
You know, I know you guys like the chat on screen, or the people on YouTube do. and I'm sorry for this, but I really think that having a reference picture up all the time is a good idea. Just
You could
purely
do that.
because, people can actually compare them.
Okay, now for this, why don't I just use something? There it is. Now, I'll show you again. It works a lot easier on this stuff. Is you can press this down. As you can see, there's a spring and there's a cutter right up here. And we just take our mark and we slide this in there. And while that's really a crappy looking mark, I know the spot I'm looking for.
Now, that is to clarify, that's not to scorn our YouTube watchers. We love those people too.
Oh, I live on it. I could watch. I've spent whole nights watching YouTube. In fact, I have
Correct.
to, well, I don't get on Facebook much. YouTube is my sin. Somebody will say, hey, watch this, and I'll go watch it. And then on the stuff on the right, there's always something there because of my cookies or whatever. And I go, well, I'll just watch that. And hell, it could be an hour later and I'm still...
That's what we call the YouTube wormhole.
Yeah.
Because you can start off looking at, I don't know, car videos, and you end up on remelting and making your own crayons an hour later.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is fun, by the way.
So this is just a hollow Plastistruct tube, and this cutter works really fast and easy on it. But it gives us a nice edge. And it should be a tight fit, and it will be. I hate measuring, so...
Ed likes to eyeball it. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's like throwing grenades. You just got to be close.
Hey, Dave, don't you put a Bears bumper sticker on that Camaro.
The Bears.
We're going to have problems, Dave. He's already been sending me memes, by the way, Cowboys memes, and they're not nice memes.
He sends me cowboy memes, and I don't
Does
even
he?
watch football. I was like, the hell? Some of them are like inside jokes. You'd have to know, I guess,
What's going on?
What's going on, if there's something, yeah.
And then I wish I didn't know, because maybe they'd be, less awful.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so we have these. They look to be tight, but we're going to, and I'll show you what I do, is I can always take off. I can't ever add back. So this one ends up being really too long. That's back to the problem of not measuring. So I'm going to take a tad off of this edge a little bit. And to get a straighter cut, I'll actually rotate this piece around as I'm making these slices to go around it and see if that's any better. Still a little bit more. Go to the other side. Well, damn.
Max, you were my favorite at one point. Now Swillow's my favorite. Way to go. At least Swillow likes the Cowboys, I think. I don't know. Him and Forever Knight both like the Cowboys.
There we go. Now this one's pretty tight. And another way when you get close, but you don't want to risk doing a cut, is to just sand it a little bit. I have another one. It's a little bit coarser. But you can either trim it or just sand it if it's really close.
If that wasn't so funny, Ashley, I swear.
Oh. Who do the Cowboys play this week?
Does it matter, Dave? You know what? Does it matter, Dave? Ed, since you're one entity now. No, they're going to lose, so it doesn't matter.
They could accidentally win.
You're right. They could accidentally win. They could accidentally limp into the playoffs, and then they could accidentally get really embarrassed at home in the first round.
That's happened before. History can repeat itself. You know, I went and shot skeet yesterday with a guy I shoot once a quarter with, and I accidentally hit one. Anything could happen.
No, Lowhold, I think that Garrett will absolutely be fired by the end of the season. The only way he doesn't is if the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, and we know that's not happening.
Garrett's the coach, right?
Correct.
That's that meme that I got about that Jerry Jones wants him to be a pallbearer.
Yes, so he can let him down
So he can let him down one more time. I like that one. So
That's fair, Max. I understand.
aside from getting them straight, there we go. So we have that. That's their shape. That's what their function's going to be. And as you can see on the piece, that's the two little, actually I can get this and we might get closer at this. Ah, epic failure there.
Hey, do you want to, yeah, there you go, perfect.
Yeah, you can see them here. There's two of them here and here. And that's what we're going for, and that seems to be what we've got. Now, what we'll have to do is add these parts on, but that's more of a detail, and that's just simply creating them, and then we'll stick them in the sides here when the time comes for that. But this is just getting this part constructed. Now, I haven't put glue on these yet, because I haven't really thought far enough ahead on exactly how I want to pin them down, and I don't know if that's glue for that. So what are we looking at for time?
We have 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Oh, that's not fair.
You're right. It could be worse.
If I stop, then I have to go back downstairs.
Yes, you
and
do.
deal with stuff.
Yeah,
And
you could
up
just
here,
be up here all day.
This is really sort of like a Zen location. I get to come up here and I'm like hiding, and all of my problems go away. All right, what would be next? Would be, in thinking ahead, and this will be just something we're going to build. This is the weird part about this build, is once we've got this part, when we start on this structure, there's no cross support anywhere, because that's what all of these flying buttress kind of constructions are supposed to take care of, and this is a lot of weight. So as you can see, we have to really figure out a way. Now, where I end up getting a lot of the strength is going to be the cross axle through here. And to make this function, what we'll do is probably use something like 2 tubes like this. It'll fit into each other snugly. Yeah. And then we'll have this part going through the shaft itself, the beam, and this part in the wood for it to go through. So that way it'll get a lot of, and they'll have 2 of these. You have to put one on each side. But what I'm going to do to give some stability to this is let's just at least get this piece and that piece on. And that involves angles, and those are always fun. Now, again, for the wings, we use these really heavies. We don't have to use that again. We could come back with a lighter wood, or a smaller wood. Yeah, and it'll add a little texture out here. So we're going to have to land, I guess first what I would really need to do is dress these edges, however we want to end up with them. They're showing them flat, and that's fine. I guess I can just carve on them.
One thing I will actually say this, because I did this, I think, last year. One thing that really helps the anxiety and blood pressure inducing nature of a Cowboys game, or helps with that, is if you're painting minis at the same time.
You're doing anything at the same time.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like painting minis for me has always been very relaxing. So if you do both of those things, you just can't get angry.
I know I got into painting minis when I did it because I'd always built models and stuff, and I was the idiot that sat down and painted as army men. I really enjoyed the idea that once I started, I didn't want to stop, and 9 hours could go by and not even think about it. I didn't get these straight, and that's going to bother me. Yeah, they're way off.
Hey, Poloff, I'm not a Fairweather fan. I've been a Cowboys fan since I was like 4 years old.
Yeah, no, all the years good. I'm a Fairweather fan for the Cowboys, for sure. But I've never known Justin to be. He is every year dutifully lined up and been disappointed.
Yeah, me and Ron both. It's kind of great.
Ron, definitely. Ron, oh yeah.
It helps to be able to come in the next day and go.
Now here's a funny story. I bought a conversion van. We were doing all these road shows. We're Gen Con in Milwaukee and all this kind of stuff. And we're having to move this crew around, and we can't afford to fly them. Now, what I'm getting ready to do here before I get into that story, so I keep going, is I've noticed that this part, while it lines up, is going to be here, and this one's off, and this is going to bother me a little bit, or I can bend it into submission. I don't know. We'll mess with it. I guess we'll try and bend it when we add our stuff. Okay. So we're up in Milwaukee, and my ex-wife is a huge, huge Green Bay fan, to the point where she spent the whole mortgage, I guess, going out and buying stuff. So anyway, we're going to leave Milwaukee and head north, and we're going to go up to Green Bay and just go see the field and see all this stuff. And so we get up, and it's really nice weather, and we head up that way, and we finally get there. And we've timed it to arrive when they're going to be doing a practice. And they have a separate practice field. She's done all this research. She knows everything. And the practice field's across the street, and these kids, this is how it sort of works, the theatrics were, is they have these kids bring their bicycles down there. And then they get, I should have done that. I didn't see what I did. And then the players, to leave the field, to go all the way over to this practice field, will ride one of the kids. They'll pick a kid's bike, and they'll ride it when they get over there, right? So it's got the whole town involved, all these people involved, and everything else. So we're watching that and going along, and the guys come over, the kids, all this stuff happens. I'm going to have to cut some off the other side now. How short am I? That much. So anyway, after a few minutes, all of the players are over there, all the kids have had their bikes ridden, all their parents are shooting pictures with all the players. It's really a fun thing. And so now we want to go over and go look at the stadium. And it's just big empty parking lot. You're going to go up and drive all the way across it and go look at the stadium. And this van that we're in, this conversion van, is in dark blue, silver, and blue. Okay, it looks like a Cowboys van, but it's not that special edition. But it's what it looks like. And so we go blazing across the parking lot. Well, since there's no parking, there's nothing. We go ripping out and just heading across the parking lot. We're all sitting here talking. No one's paying any attention, and the coach, Mike Holgram, or who was it? Back in the day, he always rode a Harley. Someone took him to the Super Bowl.
What team was this for again?
Green Bay.
Green Bay. Oh, what year was this?
Early '90s, mid '90s,
okay.
Somewhere in there, mid '90s. I think his name was Mike something. Anyway, Green Bay fanatic would know. But anyway, he's riding his Harley. And apparently I'm not even paying attention. Justin will tell you when I'm driving. It's always a unique adventure.
There was a recent experience even too. It was great.
So anyway, as we're going along, he's apparently heading to the field. I'm heading away from the practice field. We're on a head-on course. And apparently as he veers to the left, I'm not paying attention. I sort of veer to the left. And so everybody's all sort of like, oh my, and so I realize it, and I go, and we literally pass each other about 2 or 3 feet, in between us. And he's waving as he goes by. I mean, it wasn't going to hit, but it was like it was. And then it dawned on me that if we took out the coach with that van in Green Bay, there was going to be a lynching in Green Bay, and I was going to be the one to lynchee.
I say you would have started a war.
Yeah, that would not have been easy. Now what I'm doing here is I turned around and cut randomly over here, and then cut randomly over here, and I didn't mark them. And so this ended up being 2 different lengths. So we've dressed that. Now we're going to go look at this piece here. And we got a fun little device here, if I can figure out how to make it work again. I think we decided to go a size smaller, and then we're just going to connect at the ground level, and it looks like we need to connect about there. Okay, so I have no idea what that angle is, and the way I would used to do it would be to cut it like this, or mark it, and we'll figure it out. And then what I found is what I'm really looking for is there's 45 degrees to work with. Since I'm on 1/2, can't explain all the other stuff, I just know how it works. And so to make the cuts and the marks, what I would do is just take this thing to make sure I get it straight and it's repeatable.
No, Max, he doesn't watch any sports.
No, really I don't. I mean, I used to watch baseball. I liked baseball. I really had fun with watching the baseball. I used to play baseball. So I'm going to use this to find my mark that I made in there, and that's going to give me a rough approximation. And that's also going to tell me that my random cut ends up being 104 for degrees. So I have 1, 2, 3, 45, so I am 15. Here's what I'm doing, so you can see. I've got 45 to play with on this side, so it's 10, 20, 30, 45, or here's 90. So that's what I'm looking at would be, the 45 mark. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 45. So I am at, for 0, it looks to be 4, and about 9 degrees off. So that means I'm going to go back to 36 degrees on the other side to make the cut. So, or thereabouts. So anyway, I'm going to mark this one and make sure it's good. And then I'm going to flip it over and find my 10, 20, 36.
While he's doing that, just a reminder to everyone, by the way, hashtag free. Get your hashtag freeze in since we unlocked it. Thanks to Jacob and a handful of other people for their subs and resubs and gifted subs and all of the awesomeness that you guys have shared today. And we will be giving away those bundles of minis here pretty quick, probably here in the next few minutes.
If you want to go ahead and start that, I don't know that I'm going to run back downstairs anytime soon.
Let me give them another few minutes to get their hashtag free in.
Yeah. Do what you got to do.
Do you have any other funny celebrity run-in stories?
Reba McEntire.
Oh, great. Go ahead with this one.
No, again, I don't listen to country. And we're at Gen Con, in fact. That even happens there as well.
Reba McEntire was at Gen Con?
Yeah. Well, not at Gen Con. She just happened to be in town for a concert at the same time. So we're staying in, I believe it's a Hyatt, whatever's downtown. This is back, Mecca was a convention center and all that kind of garbage. So anyway, I don't know what floor I'm on. Say the 10th floor. And I'm in the elevator by myself. And the door opens, and this little, really short, redheaded lady comes in, and about 6 guys behind her that look like the front line of the Dallas Cowboys. And I get sort of pushed into this corner, you know, by just their sheer volume. Not like they're not doing anything bad. They just sort of get pushed over in the corner. And I have no clue who she is, so we, ding, we drive down, the door's open, and these guys, I realize, are making sure they've got a wall that when that door opens, you're just seeing a wall of meat. So no one's going to try and get on. And no one's talking and no one's really doing anything. And we get down there and the door opens and we all come walking out as one big group. And as a group, I've sort of accidentally fallen in with them. And so as a group, we're walking along. And they've cut a swath through this huge crowd down there waiting.
And you're walking behind
them?
And
I'm right there with her, right? And because I'm like going, hey, this is a free ride. I have no idea who you are. I don't care. But I don't have to fight the crowd now. So we're going along. And then when it comes time for me to cut over, because I know where we're meeting, I go to that area, or I just cut out and I go there and I get over there and everybody's all freaking out. Oh my God, that was Reba McEntire and this and that and the other and blah, blah, blah. Did you get an autograph? And I'm like, who, what? So that would be another one that would be a run-in with them.
That's great.
And so we have that side. Need to make sure. You also got to remember where you were starting. I think we were doing here. Yeah, we were. That's looking good.
Yeah, I'm not really a Reba McEntire fan.
I really liked her. She did those. I've listened to a lot of her songs. I like her. I mean, she's a really good musician and singer. But I really like those movies she did with the Tremors, was it?
Oh,
In the very first Tremors.
That one was fantastic.
The wife of the gun nut guy.
Yeah, the wife of Burt Reynolds. Was it Burt Reynolds?
No. I don't remember. I don't know his name, but that was who he was.
Wait, was that Burt? I swear that was Burt Reynolds. I'm losing my mind right now. Maybe
no,
it
wasn't Burt. I know.
It wasn't Burt Reynolds. Okay.
But he was sort of a character actor. You'd recognize him. Okay, so that's where you can see where we're we're That's how we've got the angle. Now again, I don't like to repeat a whole lot, so I've already got one angle here on this piece. So I'm going to go here, and again, just my real nifty geometry, just come back and put a mark in over here.
That's what it was, Joe. Thank you. Burt was his name in the movie. I knew I wasn't losing my mind completely.
Yeah. He ended up doing all the movies. Apparently she did the one. I don't remember if she did the second one. I mean, I like those. I just watched that kind of stuff, but it was funny.
His guy's name was,
the world was ending, and guess what? It was. The Tremors were there.
The guy's name was Michael Gross, by the way.
Okay.
Apparently, that was his name. Is his name? I don't think he's late. So.
Now Reba, I saw her, and I was confused because I don't watch that much TV. It sort of caught me off guard. But she plays the Colonel on some Kentucky Fried Chicken advertisements. Or something like that. I think I caught her doing that, or saw her doing that.
Reba?
Yeah.
Oh. The last thing I saw her in was that TV show she was doing. I don't think it's going anymore. But I didn't mind her in that. I think it was just named. I think it was titled Reba.
Titled Reba? Oh,
the
I
name
couldn't
of the
see
show
that
was
one coming.
Reba.
Okay, so we have these. And this will help get these wings stable. Because they're sort of flapping in the wind here. And when we do this, one of the things we're going to have to do when we go to pin, is make sure that we get them straight. And we want our geometry. And as you can see, you can't see, there we go. Camera's not letting you see straight down, but that's sort of what we're looking for. We want to make sure we have that. And it's obviously going to give stability to this side because this is now working loose and stuff like that. And we'll get this one in, and then we rinse and repeat on the other side. Let me get these in and pinned. And the big thing here when you're pinning these is you want to make sure you pull this back or up and down or whatever it needs to flex a little to get it straight. And it's not a big deal if they're not straight and you paint it and it's done. No one's going to come around. It's like that little nick on the car or whatever in your dining room table. You're the only person who knows it's there, but you know it's there, and that's all that matters. All right. Glue.
Wrist rocket?
Oh, wrist rocket. I had one of those.
What's a wrist rocket? Other than
slingshot.
Obviously what it sounds. Oh, I got you.
It's that aluminum slingshot that bends around and it braces against your wrist and
I
uses
understand.
tubing.
Yeah. I only ever had the cheap ones, and then I think I got one of those later on. My grandfather got me one. He also bought me some of those metal BBs that you can actually just hunt small game with.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, tell that to 10-year-old me that killed a couple of bullfrogs with it before I realized that it was actually fairly lethal.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for that. Not gonna lie.
I felt bad for the Frito truck that I took the windshield out of. So, but not very long. So, and now what I'm going to do is drive this one in at this angle here, right about here. Let me get my finger up so you can see it. And as I'm hoping I'm just going to catch wood the whole way. I know, it's all in the phrasing. Man, a lot of stuff's going on around here as usual. It's a busy week so far. We're seeing a lot of heavy restocks into stores.
That is
distribution.
Balsa wood, steam bub?
Just balsa wood.
Balsa wood.
Yeah. I mean, if you use bass wood, which is harder, obviously, you could probably actually do it enough. If you built your bearing right, you could actually shoot some payloads with it in a traditional way. But basswood just like working with real wood. This stuff, you know, as you can see, I'm just playing with these tools. It's more of an aesthetic. In the end, I'd end up using this in a show, in a painted miniature or whatever. I'd probably focus on a crew working. It would be the entry, and then this is the background that they're just working.
By the way,
Yes,
I just drew our 5 winners.
Oh, did you?
I did.
And
Thank you for the raid, Balefire Forge. How are you, and welcome to the stream. So I'm going to go ahead and announce the winners.
all right.
Our first winner is arcadetokenfemale. Oh, whoops. Wrong announcement. Ignore that.
Ignore that.
Yeah,
So is
this,
Arcade
this
after
no,
you?
no, that's correct. That person did win, but I hit the wrong button. Second winner is Elwindil. Third winner is Oroano. And the fourth winner is Meavwen. I think it's Meavwen. And our last winner is the Guillotine.
Oh boy, he sounds like a good Friday night party, or she.
And if they won, Ed, what should they do?
They need, you guys that won, you girls, whatever, I use that wrong way, need to send your information to reaperlive@reapermini.com. You need to include your name and address. That's your mailing address. We need that as well as your Twitch handle so that he can match up what you've won. And the sooner you get it here, the sooner it ships. And if you don't send that information, or you just send him a random email that says, hey, I won, send me my stuff, no address, well, you're not going to get it.
And preferably, your Twitch username needs to appear exactly as it does in chat. So if you put it somewhere in your, preferably in the not the subject line, but the
so to pull
the
pins,
body.
this is off, but not by much. It's a really small amount. But I'm going to go ahead and use it. To pull pins, I just take the X-Acto, go in, pry it out just a tad, like that, and I'll grab the end and pull it out. I generally will also start off with a new one, just because I've probably flexed that one in the wrong way. And what happened was I didn't get it down enough. I want this straight, and I want that, so it needs to move out a little. So I'm going to go ahead and start down here.
Thanks for that,
Catch
Max.
it there. It was off about 1/16 of an inch. Okay, what am I doing different? Yeah, that's right. I just went too far. Okay. And now up here, I'll be able to catch it and keep everything straight. And really, the reason I'm focusing on this is I found, and it's been 120 years since I built one of these like this, is when we start getting to the latter stages, that's when, liberties taken now catch up with you then, for lack of a better term, when you're trying to get stuff to line up that we can't even see at this point. So, where's my official catch wood?
Yeah, I would never do that, Max, even if you keep insulting my Cowboys. Because
What?
one of these days, I will be able to walk into this office completely happy that the Cowboys have won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you'll be 132, but yeah, you can.
Correct. One of these days. All right, so
Okay.
have you
so,
found a good stopping point there, Ed?
Is this it? Are you ready for me to get out of here?
It is now. I mean, you can keep hanging out if you'd like to, but it is now 4:20.
Are people having to go? If
No,
not, I could do these.
nope, we're good. If you want to keep going, knock yourself out.
I'll knock off this back part, and we'll go from there.
I mean, don't literally knock yourself out, but
No. It's one of the things I haven't done. I'm good at that. Okay. Now, I'm noticing here, I'm going to come back, and it's going to go, and what I'm looking for is this, at the end of the trough area, let me find that. The way I'm going to mount the trough is about halfway in on that board there, when it finally gets through. So I'm looking to more or less hit the back side of the trough and right in front of this area. So pretty much just right there. That's easy enough. Do we want it to line up on the same? Yeah, approximately the same axis. So I want it to land there and here. And this is where it'll start to get easier because I just go in with this and do a mark there. What?
nothing.
Oh.
I'm realizing a joke that Corsair told. So why do guys like to date girls who are Cowboys fans? They don't expect a ring.
Wow. That's brutal, but honest.
You know what, Silverthorn? I can appreciate that you play PUBG. That's definitely a marked upgrade from Fortnite. So thank you for that.
I haven't tried that. I want to try Fortnite. I haven't gotten there yet. I got to take 10 minutes and go try it.
Well, you can try Fortnite, but don't expect to ever make it on the show again.
Don't ever make it on this show?
Yeah,
Why?
because I don't want Fortnite fans in here.
You don't like that kind of person?
No, I'm kidding. You can play Fortnite, but it's just compared to, in my opinion, compared to other.
Excuse me. What now?
Compared to other battle royales, I think it's the absolute worst.
Oh. Oh, you're lucky. Right now, I'm still doing Call of Duty. There we go. Also, too, when you're doing this, always sharp blades are safe blades. So definitely keep that going. There we go. I think we're good. Get that out of the way. See if we can get this going. Get two of these, get them pinned in, and we can call it a day. Probably too steep of an angle, but I'll hang with it. Now, when I was a kid, I was a fanatic football watcher and player. And that's where all of the game, that's where all the teams still are. To me, the Colts are still in Baltimore. That kind of stuff. They can't be right.
Wow.
I don't know how I missed by a pretty good amount. No, I see.
But you still think the Rams are in St. Louis, too.
No, L.A.
They are definitely in the L.A. now.
Oh, is that where they are now?
They are in the, yeah.
Oh, okay. They left there for a while.
Correct.
Because it was Oakland had the Raiders, and they left. They were in L.A. I remember the Houston Oilers. I really like Bum Phillips. Okay. So we'll go with that. And we'll cut that off here. And which angle do we have? And which angle do we need? But it is a religion in this state, football is.
That is correct.
Although soccer's giving it a good run. I like watching soccer. I don't understand the game, but I like watching it. All right. So we're going to come back with these. Hit our mark here. Come up to there. And we'll make sure this one fits. Yeah, they'll both go, and they look like it's symmetric. And that will get it there, and we'll glue and pin.
Awesome.
Now we're through messing with all that other stuff. So while it's flat, that's where I'll go back in and do this kind of stuff. So next time, that'll cut some of the mundane out. Also, too, the shows. Thursday night, we do Reaper Live. That's Ron and I. Ann does Toolbox on Wednesdays at 1, is it?
1:30.
1:30 Central. Sadie does her show at 3 on Thursdays called Painting Platinum.
Yep.
And then we have Reaperland, as I call it. I don't know what its name is. It was born from the Kickstarter. And that's John and Dave on Fridays at 3 that ends the week. And that's sort of... And you know, now here's another... This is a silly story. It's a true Reaper story, though. This last week on Reaper Live, there was a question about bottle cap colors. Why do we have some black, some white, and all of that, right? So I said, well, this is how it started off, which is, well, I'll tell you all in case you went there. Different lines, we're going to have different cap colors. And this didn't work out real well on the logistics side or even the cap side. There's a lot of variance in caps. We don't make the caps ourselves yet. We're going to do that because it's just amazing what you get. I'm looking for a set of pliers. Where did I put my ring pliers? They're not right in front of me. Oh, there they are. So anyway, it is what it is. So we just have these two things, and they've been mixed. So what we've decided is to go to all black. We're just going to go to all black caps. Doesn't matter what line it's in or anything like that. We're just going to all black. And so Brother Dave, who is actually in charge of ordering everything here, is watching the show. And that's the first he's heard of it. And we've been saying that or going down that road for several months now. And he learned about it on Reaper Live from Ron and I. And then came back and had a few choice words for me. And
I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was just that they were just like, you got to be kidding me. Really? No one's gone down there and told you?
Because I remember he goes, so we're switching to black caps?
Yeah.
He's like,
and so
I
he
just
got
ordered
online, or not online, he called the supplier and he'd already put an order in for more white and said, here, just turn them to black and go. And, but it's like, me, we really got to communicate. I said, well, we did. You learned about it on Reaper Live.
That's the perfect communication.
There we go. Everybody else was there, and they heard about it at the same time.
If only people actually knew, honestly, who watch all of our streams, how much we find out at the same time as you guys are announcing it.
Yeah.
It's kind of great. We often will come up with solutions either 5 minutes before or during. I love those particular solutions.
Yeah. Ron got caught on that one, though, a few weeks ago. Remember, there was something that he was still going off what had happened in the morning meeting, and it got changed literally as we were sitting here. Okay. I don't know why that happens, but it did. And I don't really need to worry about how. Oh, come on. Don't need both of you. Another way to do this is just get a little piece and stick it on the one you're going to cut, and then you find your comfortable angle. You get these, it's like a dentist. Just get it in there and cut it. And we had the same over here. Now that pin should have gone through that one. That was just a straight up miss. So what we're going to do is pull that pin back out. Get us another one and get it in there correctly. There we go. So there you go. I wish we could see it. There we go. In its entirety. That's where we are right now. We'll stop here. This week I hope to find the time that I'm going to go back in and out all of these details in their various locations, especially because at this point we're still flat. And as we see here, this was actually will probably have to come back up because we're going to attach right here. That's one of the points. But that could illustrate how it works, and I'll just play with it. But where it's going to be appropriate, I'll start putting in these reinforcements in corners and things of this nature, just to be able to, and it adds texture to the overall piece. So, there we are. We'll stop here today. Sadly, it doesn't look like we got that much done. But we actually did, because now we'll start on the tower, and once we get the tower done, at that point we're all roughed in. And then we'll go back and we'll do all the texturing, which is addressing these corners and sides, getting them to look right, clean up any other things, get it all ready, and then we'll do a final assembly. And we will. I think we can easily hurl some chocolate kisses out of it. So do you have a raid ready for us?
I'm actually working on that right now.
Okay.
So, out of curiosity, we often kind of raid the same sorts of stuff. Sometimes we'll find ourselves where there's not a whole lot of likeness from what we're doing, currently going in the art section of Twitch. And I was curious, what do people here think of like general art stuff, like animation of fantasy figures, like goblins, for instance? If someone was animating it in a program, is that something that our audience would find interesting?
I don't know.
Just curious how much overlap there is there. Like, do you guys like general art stuff? Do you guys like, what do you guys like?
Well, there's so many art sites out there.
There is.
And animation sites. In fact, too, on our front page now, it's rudimentary, but it's very effective, is the figure of the month gets animated and does a little kind of come to life and does a little bit of a bit and goes to there. So, but anything like Xanatonium said, anything fantasy art's good. That's the best part of it, is looking for that. Stop motion would be fun. I've played with that in the past, and it's just a lot of fun to goof around with. So and as far as I saw, somebody said about how many often do I prick, pins sticking out at random places. The trick there is to make sure that we just don't have them sticking out in random places. But yeah, no, you're going to get winged. It's going to happen. It just goes with the thing. But hopefully we end up having about 5 or 6 hours totally in this piece from beginning to end, painted, ready to go. That's sort of my goal, to keep it in that area. If it's 7, I can handle that. What we're trying to avoid is this is not some month-long work. It needs to be appropriate to what it's going to do and its subject matter and everything else. So anyway, I'm ready if you are. If you've got all that done, have you got the raid set up? Oh yeah, real quickly. Yeah. Everybody, we do have a person now that's on monitoring. John Overton is the one. He's handling a lot of our social media, if not all of it at this point. And he does Reddit, Twitch, Instagram, I can't think, Facebook, our forums. What else is he doing? I'm trying to think.
All the social media.
All the social medias. And he's really doing a cool job of coordinating. And he's also finding a lot of cool stuff to put up. I saw some concept art the other day. I'd never seen it. It was really nice. So.
All right. It's great. I kind of I send him kind of a PM and say, hey, blast out to all the social medias that we're going live, and then he does.
There you go. Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's made just announcing all this stuff when we do it much easier. So.
All right. Well, guys,
right.
girls.
Well, our raid, I believe, I'm going to raid this guy here. He looks like he's animating and drawing. It looks like orcs or goblins.
Yeah.
They're kind of anime-esque. It's interesting, though, since you guys like art.
Style.
Yeah.
Well, everybody stay safe. It's not Christmas yet, but get your Christmas stuffing done. Get everything you got to do. Just stay safe and have fun.
Correct. Stay safe, have fun, and spread the Reaper love.
Yeah.
You know.
All right.
Tell him about miniature painting. Maybe he'll paint minis or something.
And I'll see y'all Thursday night.
It's awesome.
By the way, the last thing I was going to tell you is Zan's going to start doing daily shows, or all but daily shows. That's coming up at some point.
We're cooking that up.
That'll be really good.
So.
And so.
All right, guys. Awesome. Well, you have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow for some more
Take care.
Reaper Toolbox. See you guys. Keep looking at the